Welcome to Glass Half Full with Leslie Krongold. She shares her stories, experiences, and knowledge of living and coping with a chronic health condition. Learn about tools and resources and hear inspirational interviews that help you to live a life filled with quality and dignity. With 2 decades of support group leadership, Leslie's ready to help you make lemonade out of life's lemons. Are you ready?
We could all use a little more laughter, don't you agree? I mean, this is a tough time, and that's coming from a normally optimistic person, me. Most of you listening likely have some type of chronic health condition that presents challenges for you with everyday living. Now, if you are more vulnerable, like me, with respiratory issues or maybe a compromised immune system, you're on high alert during this pandemic. Even quote-unquote healthy people are at risk. And maybe you've also lost your job, or your work hours have been cut, or like me, your spouse has suffered a job loss which impacts your household. And then we've got a lot of civil unrest. And maybe you're in the path of a hurricane, or the air quality is super unhealthy because you live near wildfires, like myself. Geez, this episode is about laughter. What am I doing going on and on like this? The fact of the matter is, we are all stressed out. And if you're not stressed out, what in the world is wrong with you? Okay, so we're in agreement, right? You've got stress. I've got stress. People across this whole world are all stressed. Granted, some have a bit more stress than others. I can't even imagine what it's like to have to evacuate my home because a fire is on its trail. That's a totally different nut to crack, and I don't think laughter therapy is the best antidote. Not yet. Ironically, and here's how I bring us back to the topic, 2 years ago I was scheduled to interview a nurse about laughter yoga. She teaches laughter yoga and meditation at the University of San Francisco's School of Medicine. The day before our scheduled interview, she sent me an email message that she needed to cancel because her cabin in Lake County, California was under evacuation orders for the fires. The good news is that she's fine. I went to one of her laughter yoga sessions earlier this year, pre-COVID. My intention was to return to her class again and reschedule the interview, but that didn't happen. But I do have a guest, and she is in fact the very first person I experienced laughter yoga with. There is a field of research about laughter therapy. This type of research lies within Psychoneuroimmunology, which is the study of the interaction between psychological processes and the nervous and immune systems of the human body. I don't know when this term psychoneuroimmunology was coined, but the scientific research has found laughter to be really good medicine. Some of the health benefits include lowering blood pressure, strengthening cardiovascular functions, reducing stress hormones and improving circulation, increasing muscle flexion, oxygenating the body by boosting the respiratory system, boosting immune function by raising levels of infection-fighting T cells, disease-fighting proteins called gamma interferon, and B cells, which produce disease-destroying antibodies. triggering the release of endorphins, the body's natural painkillers, and producing a general sense of well-being. Pretty convincing results, don't you think? So, with all of this stress upon us, maybe we should try working in a little healthy laughter. So, what is laughter yoga? It's a fairly recent phenomenon. An Indian physician, Madan Kataria, developed an exercise routine he calls laughter yoga. It's a combination of laughter and yoga breathing. Laughter yoga practitioners do not use asana or yoga poses as part of the routine, so if you can't do a great down dog, don't worry. Dr. Kataria started the first laughter club in 1995, and today there are more than 20,000 free social laughter clubs throughout 110 countries. My introduction to laughter yoga was several years ago. I probably had read about laughter yoga, and then I did a little research to find a local practitioner, and that's how I found Annie Goglia, my guest for this podcast episode. I was facilitating a monthly support group for adults with neuromuscular disease. We would meet at the Kaiser Permanente Hospital in Oakland, California, and Annie happened to live nearby in Oakland. And she graciously joined us one Sunday and led us through several laughter exercises. It was not until many years later when I attended my next laughter yoga class at UCSF. And during COVID, so far, I've attended a couple of virtual laughter yoga sessions. So anyhow, here's Annie. My first question, and I don't even know if I asked you this years ago when you came to the support group, but how and when did you discover laughter yoga?
Well, I think it was 2005 or 2004, and I was living in the Boston area, and I was pretty shy when I was younger, and as I got older, I realized humor and laughter were things that helped me connect with people and get over that shyness. And I became quite the laugher, and friends would tell me, you should become a professional laugher. Or I knew you were in the room because I could hear you from across the room. So, so I thought, well, that's funny, a professional laugher. There's no such thing. And then I found out about laughter yoga. Some friend told me, like, there's this thing that adults do, and they get together and laugh together. And I'm like, that sounds spectacular to me. So I joined a group near where I live, near Boston, and I loved it. And then I moved here about a year later, and I found a training, and then I took a training with Dr. Kataria, who was the founder of laughter yoga, and then I also started to train other people to lead laughter yoga. So that was almost 14 years ago.
Is he in India or is he located in the United States?
He is in India. He was originally he was in Mumbai, but now I believe he's in the kind of Silicon Valley area of India.
And did you actually travel to India to study with him?
No. He does do trainings there, but at that time he would travel to the U.S. to do trainings. So it was near LA in Sierra Madre.
Oh, okay. And so previous to this, when you said you were shy, had you, in high school or college, done any kind of acting or improv or any of that?
Not so much then. I think it was later on I got interested in, when I was in my 30s, I started to do storytelling.
And that's before laughter yoga.
Yeah. And that really got me out of my shell a lot. And then I started to take some improvisational classes too, movement and storytelling. improv. So yeah, it all kind of comes together in laughter yoga. It's very improvisational and playful and creative and brings all my fun stuff together.
So may I ask, what did you study in college?
I was an English major, literature. Yes.
Did you teach? Did you go and teach after that, or?
I eventually I got a master's in arts and teaching, and I taught for less than a year, and that was the end of that.
Oh my God, did you hate it?
It was very, very challenging, and it was really hard to find a decent job in teaching at that particular time, especially in English. And so, yeah, it just did. I wasn't suited to it. So then I ended up doing a lot of human service jobs for many years.
Once you started, working on laughter on your own and then discovering laughter yoga, how did it change your life?
I think it's kind of sneaky. It kind of sneaks up on you. You practice it, the more you laugh, we like to say. And there's a lot of things in laughter yoga that are intentionally meant to help you bring laughter into your everyday life. We call them values-based exercises. So for instance, there's something called argument and forgiveness laughter. So we argue with laughter and then we forgive with laughter. And that's a great way to just remember when you're having a disagreement with somebody in your life, like, is it more important for me to be right, or is it more important to have a nice relationship with this person? I think things like that. And then also just remembering that laughter is a possibility when things are stressful, especially minor things. For instance, one time I was carrying a plate of spaghetti with sauce on it down to the dining room from the kitchen, and I tripped. And of course I was in a hurry. I tripped and I ended up all over this bookcase. Big mess. And I was really bummed out because I thought, oh my God, this is going to take so long to clean up. And first I was really pissed. And then I'm like, but I could laugh and it'd be so much more fun. And so I did. And it made cleaning it up much more enjoyable. And then one of my housemates was there, and that person also started to laugh when he saw what was going on. And it just like made both of our days more fun because of laughter.
Yeah.
And other things like one time I was taking my bike out of the garage and I was going backwards with my bike and I started to fall on my back. And before I hit the ground, I started to laugh. And because of that, I really didn't hurt myself. I think it just relaxed me. And
wow.
Yeah. So it's really useful, this laughter thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, over the years, I have read, different articles, and I know there's even, peer-reviewed scientific research about the health benefits of laughter yoga or laughter therapy, which I'm thinking is kind of synonymous, isn't it? Laughter therapy, laughter yoga?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it can be just like kind of entertaining and fun, but there is a therapeutic aspect of it. Absolutely.
When did you become a practitioner? How many years have you been, leading people?
I started leading in January of 2007.
Okay, wow. So you've been doing it a number of years.
Yeah.
And have you met people with different types of health conditions where they were seeking it out as a therapeutic, modality?
Yes. Well, certainly people have come who've been feeling, I don't know about depressed, but down, feeling down and needing something to cheer them up. I mean, I think people come to laughter yoga because they feel like they need more laughter in their lives. And some of those people may have some mental health issues. And they're also, people just want to be healthier. They want some mode, a way of becoming healthier and relieving stress. I think relieving stress is a big reason people come to laughter yoga. And certainly there's plenty of stress to go around right now. And stress causes inflammation in the body. It causes the body a lot of wear and tear, and it can cause heart disease, cancer, dementia. So all of those things, you know, it's a great preventative. And if you have those things, it's certainly useful to help heal. So I've done it a lot for elders who have all kinds of health issues. I've done it for people who are on dialysis. There was a study that we did. I was part of a study that actually went in and did laughter yoga for people while they were on dialysis to see if that would help them. And actually you could see their blood pressure on the machine, and you could sometimes see it like going down.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah.
So they were hooked up to the machine.
Yeah.
And experiencing a class, a session of laughter yoga.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like something.
That's amazing.
I know it was.
So you also do it in corporate settings, right?
I have a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so are you brought in through like HR, and is it
like some section of the staff, and often it's a manager who's like, I want to bring some stress relief or fun for the staff, a way for them to cope with the stress of the job. And so I try to always customize it for people. So I find out what are these people's stressors or challenges, and also what do these people need to celebrate, because laughter yoga isn't just about relieving stress. It's also about learning to celebrate what we need, you know, and not just the big things in life, but so important. I think one of the things I've learned from laughter yoga is celebrating the little things in life. So we can say, yay, very good, yay, over like, you know, I got up and took a shower this morning. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be, I'm still breathing.
It's all relative though, you know.
It is. So
I mean, especially now in the pandemic.
Exactly. So
are there in your experience, are there certain types of people that you find are more receptive?
Mm-hmm. I think there's some people who've just decided for themselves, I'm too serious. I need more laughter in my life, or I've got some issue and I think laughter would be good for me. So there's those people. And then there's the people sort of more like me who are like, oh my God, I want a place I can just laugh like crazy and people don't think I'm crazy, you know? So I think those are the two biggest groups, I think, that come to us.
Uh-huh.
And then there's other people too, but I think those are probably.
And is there any kind of generalization you can make about people that just don't, you know, it's just not their
thing.
Well, I mean, truth be told, so I think you were the first experience of laughter yoga for me. And then over the years, I attended a couple of other sessions at UCSF.
Yeah.
In person. And then since the pandemic, I've done a couple of online classes.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know how much you know about me, but I embrace all modes of non-invasive healing modalities. And for some reason, I have not, it doesn't, I mean, I don't have an adverse reaction, but I'm just not fluid with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it depends totally on somebody's openness and also on their personality. I think some people just have a really hard time letting go and getting silly, because I think silliness is really, and feeling safe enough in the group is really, really, really important. So I think some people just, you know, I think as when we're growing up, when we're told to grow up when we're little, what does that mean? It means get serious, get responsible. It doesn't mean have fun, have a good life, you know, it means. So we learn that being an adult means getting serious and being responsible. And those are not bad things to be, but it kind of leaves out a whole other part of life. So I think laughter yoga calls on us to have a more childlike approach, and to see that, to open up that side of ourselves, to be silly, to be playful. And for some people, that's really hard. I'm not saying you are like that, but I think for a lot of people, that is very challenging, and they're just like kind of freeze up, and they're like, oh, this is too silly for me, or it's too embarrassing, or it feels fake. That's the other thing I hear sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to still, because every once in a while I come back, and I've often wanted to do a podcast on it. What works for me isn't going to work for someone else, and
Right.
vice versa. I mean, there are just many different paths to hopefully the same goal of just leading a better life.
Yeah. But I tell people, if they feel like that kind of sense of embarrassment or inhibition, to think about it as an exercise. I'm doing an exercise for my health and hopefully elevating my mood as well, because we still get the benefit out of it, even if it's intentional laughter, even if we're not laughing spontaneously. So a lot of times I don't feel like exercising. I have to push myself to exercise. And so this is a form of exercise. And so I encourage people to take that, bring that kind of experimental or decision, deciding to laugh because I know it's good for my health. And then often, almost always, people end up spontaneously laughing in the group because there's this sense of safety and sense of connection. And they say that actually most people laugh not because of humor, not because of jokes, but because they're with a group of people they feel safe with, and they're just really kind of laughing just because they're together and feel connected.
That's interesting. So in the laughter clubs that you've been affiliated with, is there a sense of community that's fostered?
Yes. I mean, I can't speak for all laughter groups, but I do feel like the woman who ran the group that I went to in Boston really worked on that and had regular people and really tried to get people to share and connect with each other. And I really try to nurture that in my group.
Mm-hmm.
So there's regulars and then there's new people. We try to welcome the new people, and that's fine. But I do try to make sure people feel like they get to connect in a real way, even if it's even if they're there for the first time, that they get to have this connection with a group that's safe and enjoyable.
That might be the key for me, is that it did feel a bit like artifice, but had there been more time where I actually got to know the people, and the idea of like building that safety. I mean, because it is, it is an opening up to laugh freely and, kind of that whole full body joy experience is certainly kind of intimate.
Yeah, it is. Oh, absolutely, it is. And I tell people like to try to channel their childlike self, that because when we're kids, most kids don't say, oh, I have to talk to this person to get to know them first before I want to play with them. They just
Yeah.
I have to know what work they do or where they live or whatever. They just like, let's play. And so I try to like encourage that, like getting to know people on a different level than the intellectual one or the verbal one. It's getting to know people on a very human level. That's just like, we're two human beings together. We can play together without really knowing each other on that verbal level.
So are you able to achieve that online now? Have you been doing that with groups?
It's more challenging, somewhat more challenging, but I'm amazed that we're able to, it does work for a lot of people. We're still able to do it. Yeah. So I'm very grateful for that. For everybody, some people in my group don't come to the Zoom, and then some people who've never come before have hopped on and love it on Zoom. So, I can't say, it obviously is not for everybody, but I'd say it works for a lot of people.
I mean, everybody should try it, no harm done.
No harm. No, I don't know anybody who's died from laughing.
Well, that's a good testimonial.
And most people come out of it saying they feel both more relaxed and more energized. It's very nice combination.
Yeah, no, I definitely did feel more energized. I mean, because you are really exercising your lungs.
Uh-huh.
And the one I did online, we were moving around a little, you know. So yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, we do a lot of movement, moving, clapping, breathing, a lot of yogic breathing, and of course laughter. And I also do when we have we do these playful laughter exercises to get people to connect and laugh with each other. And we also do some warm-ups before that, some physical warm-ups. And towards the end, we do a time when we just laugh for a minute or two. Because you really get more benefit out of a more extended laugh. More health benefit. Helps with the blood pressure, helps with the immune system, which we really need right now, right?
Yeah.
And it's a natural pain reliever, which is lovely. And then towards the end, I do a guided, or Liz or I do a guided relaxation, because it's in the evening and we want to leave people in a peaceful place.
Oh yeah, that makes sense, right? You're unwinding and gonna go to sleep soon, so you want to come down a bit. Great. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't bumped into you somewhere since Kaiser.
Yeah, I think we did, but I don't remember where. That's another way I use laughter, is because it helps jog my memory. When I forget something, I laugh, and it's amazing. It cuts through the brain freeze, and I can think better, and I almost always remember what it was I forgot.
Wow.
I recommend trying that.
Oh man, can you jar that?
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, see, get it in ARP magazine, you'd make a fortune.
I know.
Hey, and guess what? You too can experience laughter yoga with Annie. She has a group on Meetup. I've provided the link in the podcast notes on the Glass FO website. And if you've enjoyed what you've heard in this episode, I invite you to check out the other links on the Glass FO website that are related to laughter therapy. There's an organization called Comedy Cures Foundation that provides therapeutic comedy programs for children and adults living with illness, trauma, depression, and disabilities. There's the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor, which was founded by a registered nurse in the 1980s. That organization provides and disseminates information about therapeutic humor. And there are also links to the UCSF Laughter Yoga program and Dr. Kataria's website. So take care of yourself as best you can, and when you're ready, consider exploring how some intentional laughter can help ease your stress.
Thank you for listening to Glass Half Full. Leslie invites you to leave a rating and review on iTunes. This helps spread the word to others dealing with chronic health issues. For show notes, updates, and more, visit the website glasshalffull.online. glasshalffull.online.